Last 4 months, I was working with the Newton Police Traffic Bureau and an internship. I'll get into more what the Traffic Bureau is, what they do, because they differ from standard patrol officers. But first, I just want to talk about why I did this internship, and I wanted to do it because simply I wanted to do something in first response. I had a great deal of respect for anyone first response, police, fire, EMS, whatever it may be. But I didn't have very much knowledge about what happens behind the scenes of a police force. Like, all I basically knew was crime happens, police investigate it, everything goes from there. And but the few times when the limited knowledge that I did have come up was when I was on ride-alongs, and I just had a question based on something I heard in the past, seen before. And then I was also able to nail down the internship through contacts at City Hall. The school set it up, which was awesome. And it was very much like a traditional job interview process. I've had a few paid jobs in the past, and went for a couple interviews, one with the lady who was organizing it, and then one with the sergeant who was going to be my supervisor. I had to send in a variety of forms, background checks, stuff like that, and my resume, so I'm just glad I got the additional experience. And then about the Traffic Bureau, they were founded along with the rest of the police department in 1873. They serve, obviously, the residents of Newton, Massachusetts, and they enforce laws, but primarily dealing with any affairs that occur on the roadways. So that would be vehicle stops, accidents, roadblocks, whatever happens on the road. That's what the Traffic Bureau deals with. That's their main priority. And they differ from patrol officers in that sense, the types of calls they respond to, but also the fact that patrol officers have assigned districts in Newton. They cannot leave these districts regardless of any crime that's going on outside. So even if it was like a shooting or something, if it's not in their district, they cannot respond to that call. But traffic officers, that's where the advantages of being one of those comes in. They don't have assigned districts. They can respond to any type of call. While burglaries and domestics are not their main priorities, they can respond to any of those if they're nearby in any district. And then the marathon bombing was the main reason why I wanted to do this internship, because I learned that I was going to have a part in creating the surveillance plan for this year's marathon, and but just the Newton portion. And it just felt good to have a part in it because of last year, perceptions of the marathon have changed, and I felt good that I'd have a part in restoring the faith that a lot of Bostonians have in the marathon. So that made me feel good. And in order to do this, we assembled 40 what are called standard operations procedures manuals. They're each about that thick, and they had everything you need to know about security, backpacking, state police information, bomb squads, whatever it may be. Everything you want to know was in these manuals. And our efforts led to stories like this. This is one of many articles that came out after the marathon, and just reading these made me happy, just knowing that I had a part in making this happen. And then this was a page on the the City of Newton website, and it was all about parking restrictions during the marathon. And this was another piece that was included in the manuals that we put together. And they had everything as something as seemingly simple as parking to something a little more sophisticated like this, helicopter surveillance. And just while I was at the marathon, they did a great job of hiding all the new measures that were put in place, but there's obviously something I noticed that was different than prior years. And then this was one of many articles that came out prior to the marathon about new security methods, new actions that were put in play, and it underscores what we were trying to achieve. But the main priority was to amp up the safety, but also keeping the family feel and festivities of that day, because that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest part of the marathon. And we did succeed. Then in terms of what I did, I had many roles. There was never one typical day schedule, but prior to the marathon, preparation, I was mainly creating court documents, which are essentially lists of individuals looking to fight off citations. And they would basically, at the front it would be the list, and then stapled to it are all the documents for individual cases. The tickets would be attached to it, they'd be sent to court, and all of those cases would be dealt with on that day. And then the officers were all on their off-duty personalities. They were nothing like how you would expect on the street, and they're some of the they were the main reasons why my preconceptions of police forces changed. I'll get into more like what those were, but they really made the job like worth it. I had an awesome time working with them. And then most of the stories came from ride-alongs. It's another thing I did, but there's one story in particular and this happened about a month ago maybe. There was an incident in West Newton, that a Grand Theft Auto suspect, they're in pursuit of the suspect, and it continued all the way into Bedford, and I was inside the annex building where I worked, which is across the street from the main station, and calls were starting to come in. I went to the bathroom. Everyone was still there. I came out, everyone was gone. It was just me. It was me and one other desk employee, and he told me what was going on, and later that night, I went home, and I looked up the story, and I saw a lot of officers on the news that I work with every day, and it was just cool to see that, because you hear stories on the news about events like these, and you never know what's happening inside the police station, inside what's going on while all the calls are coming in, so that was kind of cool that I knew what was going on when that was happening. Like stuff that most people probably would not know what was happening. Then, as I said, these eventually changed, but initially I was hesitant to work with the police just because though I did have respect for them, many people do still try and run from police just because, whatever reason, avoiding trouble, avoiding jail time. And I didn't want to be someone tried to run away from. I wanted to be someone people ran to for help no matter what. And it is true to a very big degree, but not all the way. So that was the only hesitation I had with working for the police. And these changed. Like, I haven't changed as a person really, but this is something, but because of, as I said before, the officers they were the main reasons why my preconceptions changed. Like, they're not all about the job. They know how to get down to business when they need to, but they never take it too seriously. And there's people like everyone else. They go to work, they go home to their families, and they get down to business when they need to get down to business, and which I really admire. That's how I want to have it. That's how I want to do my job when I'm older, in college and beyond. And though I'm still undecided about having a career in law enforcement, just as I said, I'll never look at it with disapproval again. But until college is done, I'm just going to be exploring. And if I want to do a career in this or not, I'm not sure. But this has definitely opened up my mind to this possibility. And thank you.